Thanks, April. I'm here with Public Safety Director Patrick Maddox, who's going to give us a little bit more insight as to what happened during the Okaloosa County Board Commission meeting.
Sure. So as far as what happened with the EMS and DOH testing initiative, as you know, in Northwest Florida, we've done incredibly well as far as numbers for COVID-19 have been. If you look at Southeast Florida, who were hit particularly hard by the pandemic, many of the early volleys of testing supplies and the state-initiated and supported testing sites were occurring down there in the areas which had the highest numbers, which makes sense. So in the Northwest Florida area, our numbers were substantially lower, and the need for increased testing became apparent relatively early. So now that we're in the phase where we're able to do that, the National Strategic Stockpile is moving a bit. We have the ability to get some more PPE, some more testing supplies, because they've been ramping up for all this time. And now that we have that availability, and we've seen that our hospital capacity is able to support the number of COVID cases that we have here locally, we're able to dedicate more personnel and more supplies towards mobile testing areas that we're actually making the initiative between our own EMS and the Department of Health here locally without state-supported personnel.
Okay. And as far as mobile testing, how many sites do you feel like will be available in Okaloosa County for those citizens to access?
We'll be able to do one at a time, but we are going to move them all around the county. So I have some areas here, you know, Crestview, Baker, Niceville, Fort Walton, Central Destin. We'll try to get all around the county so that people can access it at one time or another. And we'll probably run one site for a week at a time or 2 days at a time. We're going to do it twice a week. Is our initial plan for 3 hours, perhaps between 8 and 11 on Tuesdays and Thursdays is the initial plan. All of this, of course, is subject to final board review and final planning with coordination between EMS and the Department of Health.
Okay, that's great. That's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about, will these be drive-up testing sites, or will you have to make not reservations, but will you have to call in before showing up? Prior to.
So you will not have to call in beforehand. What's going to happen, they will be drive-up testing sites, and there will be ample signage, and Chris and his team will go ahead and get the information out on social media. We'll make sure that it's available. We may be able to even get Northwest Florida Daily News to perhaps run a small segment on it, but we'll make sure that the population is aware of the locations and times. The only things that can change that is, of course, since it's an outdoor testing site where we may have tents and outdoor equipment, inclement weather may change something like that. So we'll be able to push that information out. If we put a schedule up, our anticipated schedule on our website, we would ask that the public refer to that on a regular basis as we look at our weather predictions. If we're going to have a really bad stormy day or severe weather coming through, high winds, we may have to take those tents down for that period and reschedule that particular volley of testing.
All right, thank you so much, Patrick.
Certainly.
All right, and then now what I'm going to have you do is so I want you to go right here, right at the camera. Let's see. Zoom this out a little bit. And then I want you to look right at the camera and say, "Back to you, April."
Back to you, April.